So when I made that video last week saying, am I turning a corner? Yes, I actually do believe I am. And these last 2 days are actually showing more that I'm turning a corner rather than not turning a corner. So that sounds crazy, but I believe that in the future, I will look back at this point right here as okay, like we have a lot of work to do, right? And these last 2 days are showing me that these are the flaws and these are the things that you need to fix. So, when I made this video and I said that, I was just yapping. I literally was just yapping, but I was on to something. And I kind of realized what I was saying after the fact that when I took those huge losses, I believe that I had a couple of those losses in a row at that time, where if I look back, I just had a horrible week, huge loss after huge loss after huge loss in that same week, losing almost $1,000 in a week. I realized at that time there's something that I really needed to change. There's something that I needed to do in order for myself to grow, in order for myself to get better. So, am I turning the corner? After I made that video, we took those huge losses, huge losses, huge losses. But I needed that. I needed to lose in that way. I needed to show and expose what my flaws were, right? Since then, we've changed some things. We decided to only take one trade a day. We decided that one trade of high quality is so much better than two stabs of subpar quality, which ended up leading to these losing days. We also decided that we did not need to trade every day. As you guys saw last week, I only took one trade. That was it. I only took one trade, right? And then we also too decided that we needed to win more than lose, which obviously sounds like common sense. But a lot of times my losses were so much bigger than my wins that even though this calendar is mostly green for September, I only, and thank God I was break even, but I barely made anything. I didn't make anything. I lost money, right? So I've been taking good trades. I've been doing well, right? We did have a period of time where this second week and this first week, it was about sizing down. After we took this loss on the third, we sized down, right? We were taking good trades, but then we sized up again and we just started losing a lot. So I needed to figure out what my flaws were. This week happened. And since then, at that time, if we come back to this video, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the balance was negative 1,017. Right now, the balance is $305.40. I can now, even though it would be small, I can now take $150 of a payout, which would recoup the activation fee that I paid for this account. So we've done it. We've been able to get ourselves out of drawdown. We've been able to fight our way out of it. And I really do believe that what I was saying at that time is correct. I really needed to show what my flaws were. I needed to expose my flaws, but was I turning a corner? Yes, I was. Even though I took those huge, huge losses, I was turning the corner and I needed that to happen. A lot of times, whenever we're going through difficult periods in our life, like I know for myself personally anyway, I'm always asking, like, why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this? But the reason why is because you're supposed to grow. And you have to be able to allow those situations to help you grow. If you don't, you're just going to be in the same place and trying to continuously learn that lesson that is being provided for you in front of your face. Sometimes things are just so easy to miss, especially if they're right in front of you. But if you're going through a tough time, you have to be able to take advantage of that. You have to be able to embrace that adversity, all of the pain that you're going through, and learn something from it. And at that time, that's what I did. I stripped everything away. I said, I'm gonna basically recalculate what I'm doing, figure out what I'm doing wrong, keeping things simple, and then go from there. And then since then, we've had one losing trade, but after that, one, two, three, I think it's four winning days in a row, and then also too, we've had five out of the last six trades have gone well. So yeah. Now, obviously, this isn't like I'm getting a payout or anything like that, but I really do believe that this is something to be celebrated because getting out of drawdown completely is amazing. Getting the balance back to positive, especially where we were about like $500, close to $600 away from blowing the account. One more bad day like that would have killed me. So I'm very grateful. I'm definitely very grateful for that too. And I think from that point on, if I go back to my um, channel, I know sometimes the thumbnails kind of show the calendar here and there. Um, but really, it was for me learning those lessons, right? So one of the videos I made, I think it was before this. Yeah, it was keep trading simple, right? That one was really part of my learning process. But then also too, being definitively wrong also has helped me in terms of stop loss placement. So one of the things I do now is I use the 5 minute chart for my stop loss. And we'll kind of go over the trade that I took today. I also took my first trade in gold. I'm pretty sure I put that in the title. So we'll go over that as well. But those are things that I've learned. One other thing too, again, from that point that I was losing, this video right here, I swear I'm done after one more candle, right? When I took my trade last night and we ended up winning, I was not looking at the charts as much, right? I was still looking here and there, but I made sure to just set alerts and I'll come back once the alert comes off, right? I was playing Battleship with Steph. um, or I think it's the knockoff version, Battle at Sea. So that was really important to me, and I'm glad that I've learned a lot, and I'm glad that we're out of drawdown, and obviously I want to keep it going, but that doesn't mean that like this account um isn't going to be blown, right? It doesn't mean that I'm not going to take losing trades. Obviously, I will still take losing trades, but we are doing what we can to take the highest quality setups. We are skipping days not to trade, right? And then when we do trade, it's a high quality setup that even if it loses, we're still proud of, right? One last thing I wanted to say too before we get into the trade recap as well is I'm honestly very proud of looking at this graph. I know sometimes YouTube decides to use this as my thumbnail. I wouldn't be surprised if it did use this as my thumbnail this time, but to see this, right? To like, you ever see one of those, like if you're trading, whether it's stocks or futures or whatever, where a trade or a stock might be so down bad, it might be so low, like the trend is bearish, but then all of a sudden, like it reverses, it comes up, it comes down, and then it just starts going into the green. Like that's literally what I've done with this trading account, and I'm extremely proud that I've been able to battle back, that I've been able to see green on it. Again, I know that I will take a losing trade at some point again, right? But we've learned so much being in drawdown, we've learned so much to be able to climb our way out of it that I'm very proud of myself for doing so. And we're just gonna keep doing our best. So anyway, yeah, also too, I don't know why, but Mondays, it's technically not Monday, it's Sunday night. Sunday night, it's just sorry, yeah, Monday night. Monday night is just a really good day for me, but this was actually my first winning trade on a Sunday night. So I'm glad. I'm happy about that. That's really good. Anyway, let's go through the trade. So I took my first trade on gold today, and what happened was I was looking at M&Q as well, but I really like the way gold set up. The reason why is because we were so bullish at this time too. In fact, let's actually go to the trade execution so I'm not making stuff up for you guys. Um, and I was really happy with the way that things were setting up. So first trend, we were bullish, clearly, right? We did stagnate a bit, and I'm pretty sure that this would have a lot of people worried as well. When you're stagnating, you're not moving up as high anymore, right? And then you're coming back down. But again, You have to think about it how people, or I guess you could say the market makers are trading, right? They see this huge move. People are taking profits up here. They want to accumulate at a good level, right? So some people would think it's right here. I think that's how I used to think too. But you wait for it to come down to a discounted level, right? Which you'll see here as well. So I start trading at 8 p.m. Eastern Tokyo session. I think it's Golden Week in China. Someone said that to me, so thank you for that. That's why it's been kind of slow as well, especially for MNQ. But now we are at a discounted level, right? Part of me keeping my trading simple is I'm only buying at value area lows, I'm only selling at value area highs, and I'm always going in the direction of the trend, which is bullish, right? So this is a really good area to buy. My first execution comes in at, let's see, I believe it was 8:29, so about 8:30 or so we decided to add. Gold is kind of not crazy, but like you can only add like one or two contracts, and then you start risking like $200 depending on how much it's moving, right? Gold is also very erratic too, but today it was actually moving kind of slow for me, which I'm very grateful for to integrate for my first gold trade. So we started adding at this candle right here. I really like this candle off value area low. Again, it's a very good risk reward as well. We're bullish on the day. If you want to head higher, most likely this is a good level to start adding, right? So I added a couple there. It was slow, but at this candle right here, as we were continuing higher, I decided to add some more too. We waited for it to come back down to 930 and then it went back up, which was good. And then after this, I stepped away. So I think I would have been really scared if I had seen this candle right here. But after I added at 843 and it came down, I just stepped away. I got an alert that we ended up breaking this level right here at this top, which was here. So one of the things I did, I was like, cool, we're probably gonna head higher, but then we came back down. But at this point, as we shot back down, I realized we most likely, if we were heading lower, we'd be breaking this level here, we'd be breaking this level down here. So I actually ended up adding one more contract here as we pulled back, and I actually set a stop loss below this wick down here. So this was like its own mini trade in itself. It was a small trade within the bigger trade that if we come down here and we lose, we lost on that trade, but these are still valid. I ended up placing a couple more stops below this level because we're trying to minimize our losses, but we still had our three contracts coming off at value area highs here, which ended up shifting down to about 937. So at the time it was 942. So I'm taking these first entries here, but you can see here the white line has now shifted down to 940. But I was like, I'm only going to go for value area highs, um, which ended up being 930, about 937.2, I think, if I remember correctly. So right here it's 938. And it does take a while. We're starting to get that compression, but once you get that compression, you know that it's time for a bigger move, right? So we end up taking three off there. And then, of course, I put one at the very top because I'm like, I don't know if we're going to get there, but I was trailing it as we continued. So how my trailing now works is I just trail to a bottom red wick, right? So we took three off here. We had one more left. So right here, my stop was here, right? So it's either a bottom selling wick, a bottom candle. Geez, I can't speak. A bottom red selling wick candle. I don't even know if that makes sense. Or a high volume candle. So once we had this, or once we sold here for three contracts, we had this high volume candle here. So I just put it below the high volume candle, right? We had another red wick. Put it below this green one until we continued, right? So then moved it here, and then we continue, and then we end up getting stopped out here, which is perfect, right? So it actually ended up being a really smooth, good trade. A lot of times too, when you trade, there's always going to be doubt. I always have some doubt. I'm like, oh man, like if it doesn't go well, what happens? But that's a good thing, right? Not the doubt of like, oh, I don't think it's going to work, but it's more like, okay, like What is my contingency plan if it doesn't work? What is my contingency plan if it breaks this level? Am I ready to accept my losses? And even though I would have been like, oh man, like we broke down, like let's say we had gotten stopped out and it continued higher in my favor, I understand that that was good risk reward. I think at one point we were only risking about, I think it was like $150 if I had taken these stops, right? For what we made today, which was about $400. So I mean that is awesome risk reward. And if we can continue that and minimize our losses and slowly scale into our trades, then we're gonna do really well. So we've been doing good. Again, like looking at this graph, it shows that okay, we really made it out. We made it out, and I'm very grateful for that too. And I also think adding gold now is also going to be a good game changer for me. MNQ also looked good too. I do want to touch on that as well since that's what I mostly trade. The only thing with MNQ is that we didn't really fully get to that value area low level. I wanted it to come down here, but I also understood too that, and I've done this before, adding a VWAP is also good too, especially if you have a clear trend and you're pulling back, adding a VWAP would have been good. I could have added here as well. I always like to keep track of ATR and see how far away we are at. So value area low was at 43. So one ATR away would have been 47. So if we had dropped down to that level, I would have been looking, but now value area low shifted up to 44. ATR still around 4, so 48, which we were pretty close. So if I had added here, it would have been fun, and we would have had a really nice push up as well. I think it would have been to value area highs. You can see value area low ended up shifting as well, and we probably would have taken profit at some point here. So that would have been a good trade too. But we traded gold today. It went well. Things went well. And we are doing our best. So again, we just got to keep doing what we're doing though. I hope to continuously trade well throughout the rest of the year, throughout the rest of the month for sure. And maybe we'll be able to take another payout, but it's not going to be one of those things now where I'm just going to build the balance up to $1,000 and then we take a $500 payout. Like I really don't really care about the balance anymore. Like I want it to get to above 2,000, right? So that way our max loss limit is exactly what I want, which is $2,000. And then after that, we're gonna see if we can double it again. So to get to 4,000 and then maybe take a $2,000 payout. So this account, I'm not, fiending for a payout. I'm really just taking my time, trading it slow, and making sure that I am just following my process, following my rules, and seeing where I can get with this account, right? Another cool thing too is again, I got 3 other funded accounts, right? I need to trade these 2 this week, so I'll probably take a trade on these maybe sometime this week. And then we have one more account to activate, so we have 500 accounts. So I really don't have a time limit. I'm just taking my time. I'm gonna go slow. And if we're able to build a balance up to that 4,000 level, or at least close, then okay, we can take a payout, and then maybe we can copy trade 2 accounts, not all 5, but 2 accounts, and take it slow. And then once we start doing really well, then 3. Then once we start doing even better than that, then 4. And then once we start doing extremely well, then 5, right? And at that time, too, payouts would have been taken. I probably would have passed more funded accounts or passed more combines to have more funded accounts in the background, and so on and so forth. But I really don't care about that right now. It's really just about the process, sticking to what I'm doing here. Um, and yeah, just keeping it going. So, anyway, guys, that's it for this video today. I know a bit of a longer one compared to last week, but that's because we actually had stuff going on. But also, too, I wanted to reflect and say that I'm proud of myself, right? These videos are really for me, but obviously it's on YouTube, so a public platform where other people can watch it. Um, I just want to say that I'm proud of myself, and we just have to keep it going. Losses will come. We might lose the next trade we take. We might lose the next 2 or 3 trades we take, but if we're following our rules, we're sticking to our process, We're keeping trading simple. We're only taking one trade at a time per day, and we're gonna be okay. So yeah, hopefully you guys have had a great start to the week so far. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you guys are trading well. And yeah, keep trading stoically. I did want to say one more thing too. On Discord, I asked the question of the week. It's pretty much question of the month, honestly, but I will be doing a response to that, a video response. And basically the question was, do you have, um, not do you have, but is it possible to have no enemies? If I were to say the statement, I have no enemies, what does that mean? So I will be dropping that probably Wednesday, maybe. We'll see. Sometime this week for sure. But if you guys wanted to answer that question or you wanted to ponder over it and think about it and then answer it, you're free to do so in our Discord. I think Shortbus the only one who actually answered it. So add your responses in there if you guys are wanting to answer that question or in the comment section below too. That's really cool. But yeah, hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you guys are trading well. I know I just said this, but yeah, keep trading stoically. I'll see you guys in the next video.